Rashelle designs rugs that raise the question, can a rug make you feel something?
First off, sexy. Look at these tassels. They just bring so much sexiness into this rug. I find that they're very groovy, they're very playful, they're vibrant. I think with my rugs, you get a sense of nostalgic joy. You can see your childhood bedroom, and that's kind of where it derives from for me, is that I would just be rolling in them all the time and be taking so many photos on my digital camera and putting them on my MySpace page. That's what I would be doing. I'd be so stoked.
Rug making has been a form of human expression for thousands of years. The oldest known hand-knotted rug was found preserved in the Siberian permafrost. The Pazyryk rug is about 2,500 years old. Persian artisans developed the Sena knot, designing durable, tightly woven rugs with intricate patterns. Rug makers have used knotting, weaving, tufting, and hooking for thousands of years. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution, and mechanization turned rugs into a commodity. Then, in 1930s Georgia, the handheld tufting machine transformed rug making again, making production faster while keeping the hand of the designer in the process. One of those designers is Rashelle Campbell. Years ago, Rashelle went searching for a rug that spoke to her, something asymmetrical, colorful, groovy even. When nothing clicked, she designed her own. So can a functional object like a rug tap into emotion? Let's find out. This is CBC On Design.
I have to draw it, and if I look at it for more than honestly an hour, I don't want to do it. So as soon as I draw it, I have to make it, because it just takes away that magic. You know, there's parts of being thoughtful with your design for sure, but you have to keep parts of you, which is the imperfections of my designs, and that's me. So I definitely just sketch it, and then I'm like, let's go. Let's freaking do this. I would say my aesthetic is, if you mesh the worlds of Austin Powers and Lizzie McGuire, that's what you will get from me. It's Y2K, it's inspired by pop culture. I really like to make things that remind you of your early 2000s bedroom, because I'm a 90s and early 2000s kid. And so when I make these, I want people to look at them and just instantly feel that joy and feel that childlike nature.
Rashelle's designs are joyful, vibrant, and often anchored in the pop culture of her youth. She designs with emotion, both in her process and how her rugs are meant to make people feel. So how does this all work?
Okay, I wake up. I put on a rom-com. Last time was 50 First Dates. Really liked that one. I grab my iPad and I start sketching. Sometimes it will take me 10 minutes where I'll draw something and I'm like, yep, that's it. A lot of my designs are hand-drawn on the cloth, which is also another form of just being very spontaneous with your design. And then I grab the yarns, and so that's kind of when you start deciding what colors you want to use. And you kind of, put the shades next to each other and kind of figure out that way. You feed the yarn with the tufting gun, and then you just start tufting. And it'll take me about either 4 to 8 hours to tuft. So it was back in 2020. I was looking for a piece to have in my own place, and I started to look online and I couldn't find anything. I was only seeing geometric shapes, more neutral colors. And so at that point, I told myself, you just got to do it yourself and make yourself your own rug. And so that's when I purchased a tufting gun and I made my first design, which was a flubber rug. And it was exactly what I needed for my place, something that was joyful and really resembled me. And that's how I started. And then I just kept going. I kept making rugs and posting online, and my friends wanted some, and then their friends wanted some, and then that's how it kind of snowballed into making rugs.
From animal hides to modern mass production, rugs have always been more than just floor coverings. They're cultural objects. Across cultures, they've served as heirlooms, burial shrouds, wedding gifts, and canvases for storytelling. For Rashelle, her rug making is a connection to something both cultural and personal, working with her hands.
I think there's something really cool about taking traditional craftsmanship with contemporary innovation and making it evolve into something else. What I do or my designs isn't necessarily a connection to my Cree side, but how it's done is a connection because my ancestors, my kukum, my mom, they've all have been using their hands for forever, like just from beating to hunting to cooking. And I feel that my ancestors have passed that down to me where I'm always creating with my hands. I'm always, keeping them busy. And even my kukum, she has really bad arthritis in her fingers and they're really crooked, and so she can't work with her hands anymore. But it really shows how much she used them and was dependent on them. And so that's the connection that I have, is just how my ancestors have really just, come through my hands.
Handmade, organic designs that embrace the imperfections of life. Something about this combo and its unique take on a household staple started to resonate with people. But what happens when selling to your friends turns into selling to their friends, then stores, and even sports organizations?
My biggest one would be Essence. They sent me an email when I was at the drive-thru ordering Taco Bell, and I opened up my email and saw their buyer, and they asked if I'm doing if they would like to order in some rugs, and so I said yes please. But I hand tufted that order all myself. It was 65 rugs. Yeah, it's just me with everything. I do everything, so I was like, you know what? I think I'm at a point in my career that I can outsource, but then when you outsource, that comes with issues as well, because you have to find a place, a manufacturer that you can trust and build that trusting relationship. I don't personally like to say manufacturer because it's family run. And when I found them and talked with them for weeks, just making sure that everything is, ethical and that, the quality and that you can trust them. And yeah, that's when I decided to go forth with it. And it was a hard process. You're letting go of your designs and kind of trusting the universe that they're gonna come out okay.
Rashelle found a family-run studio overseas, allowing her to meet the increasing demand for her designs and take on larger retail orders. This decision represents a shift in Rashelle's career, from craft artisan to industrial designer, sourcing New Zealand wool for its durability, and managing color accuracy of dyes.
Each type of shade is hand dyed, so it's not 100% of this is what it's going to be like. It's not going to look exactly on how it looks on my Procreate on my iPad, but you really have to trust the process with that one, because hand dyeing takes forever. I think it's about a 3-week process.
Whether it's hand dyeing custom colors or vegan wool in her home studio, this new relationship with the manufacturer gave Rashelle time to pursue new projects. Some that connect with another aspect of her youth.
I'm a sporty girl. I played basketball. My dad and I would play all the time. I am just so in love with sports as itself, and then being a woman, I feel it's really hard to be in that world. And so I really wanted to create something for women to have in their house and not have it be like an NBA jersey that's on a wall or a sign that says man cave. I wanted to still incorporate the funness of sports.
Partnering with the WNBA, Rashelle created office decor, team accessories, and even a large-scale mural with some very familiar motifs.
I love basketball, and I've never seen a giant basketball rug before, and so that's why I decided to design one and make it look modern as well.
So after you've sketched your concept, transferred the design to the monk's cloth, and utilized a tufting gun to apply the wool, what comes next in Rashelle's rug-making process?
You cut it out, you back it with whatever fabric you're using, and then you groom the rug. So it's my favorite step because you're giving the rug a little haircut. It's the best. And also you know that you're really close to the end. So, and then you take photos or you look at it for 5 days and wonder if you made the right choice.
Whether it's produced by hand in her home studio or through an industrial design workflow and overseas partners, what are the core philosophies that she carries from project to project? And how does she anchor the form and function of her designs in emotion and feeling?
As humans, we're so drawn to natural elements, whether it be a landscape or mountains. And so when you look at something and it's not exactly perfect, I think that we can all resonate with that and feel more human. When you have something that's so perfect, there is parts of it that is just losing so much of its character, and what builds character is the imperfections and the flaws. And so I'm always drawn to things that might have some things wrong with it, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. Design to me is about thoughtful creation. It's about finding the balance of form and utility and function and art. And it's not necessarily always about making something beautiful, but making something that helps people resonate with it through expression, whether that be joy, sadness, or nostalgia. If you can bring a feeling into the design, then I think that's a design. And I always ask myself when I look at other designs, does it have the double F? Is there function and is there feeling? And if it has both of that, then that's design.
Colorful, joyful, groovy. By embracing a hands-on, do-it-yourself until you can't do it alone approach, Rashelle designs and manufactures the kinds of rugs that she wants to see in the world, bringing organic shapes and pop culture colors into spaces that could use that touch of the unexpected, all in service of form, function, and feeling.